everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is the card that I've been making today. It is a tuxedo card, so called because it's got these flaps that look like the lapels of a dinner jacket. It's a nice three-dimension card. It is actually a variation on the folding box cards that are very, very popular. I've made loads of them. They're so much fun to make. Stay with me, I'll show you how I made this card. For the tuxedo card itself, I have a piece of balmy blue and I've cut it to 7.5 inches by 10.5 inches, and I've kept the offcut pieces. I shall be using them a bit later on. And to cover it, I have some of the gingham gala or gala paper, and I've gone with tone on tone. I've gone with balmy blue. Now I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to use the small checks or the large checks. I will decide that when I come to that point. For the sentiment and for the embellishments, I'm going to use butterfly gala or gala and memento tuxedo black ink. I have the pretty label punch, and I've got a sheet of this. This is from the Botanical Butterfly DSP, which is a set that's only available during Celebration, and it's one of the things that money can't buy. You can only get this with a qualifying order. And as well as those, I'm going to be using some strips of acetate. So it can either be some window sheet or it can be clear packing material if you've got some of that lying around. So with the long edge of my card at the top of my scoreboard, I'm going to score 2.5 inches, 5 inches, 7.5 inches, and at 10 inches. I'm going to turn my card and score at 2.5 inches and at 5 inches. Now this here at the back, that score is going to be the middle of my tuxedo card. I'm going to chop away these two skinny rectangles on the end of the card here so that I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Alright, it's going to make my life a little bit easier, because what I'm going to do is I am going to take my ruler, and I've got a squishy mat underneath my card, and I'm going to score from that centre point to that corner. Okay, and I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to do the same thing from the centre point there to that corner. And I don't know if you can hear noises off, but it is entirely possible that I may be getting a visitation from the cat in a minute, because she's on the prowl. Okay. Right, so now I'm going to burnish in those creases. Didn't mean to drop that. Okay, so now I've got creases all over the place. It needs to go that way. And now I'm going to cut away this triangle in the top corner here. I could leave it there and fold it back, which would give me a nice neat edge. But for the purposes of speed today, we will just trim it away. And I'm also going to trim out that square in the corner. So this is the shape that I have left, and that is how it is going to fit together into a tuxedo card. Misty Cat, what are you doing? Sitting on the chair behind me, scratching. Stop scratching. It's a good girl. Okay. And I'm just going to trim those edges down a bit so I get a nice neat join. So if I hold the card like this, I have here a square, and I'm going to measure the sides of the square, and they are 3.5 inches. So I've gone ahead and I've cut myself a square of my gingham gala paper, and I've cut this to 3.25 inches square, and this is going to go on to the back panel of my card with my trusty liquid adhesive. And I'm going to put this with the large squares up, and I am lining up the corners and the top with my fold, and that way I know it will be even, which for me is quite an achievement. Okay, so there is the back panel of my card. I'm deliberately not sticking it down yet, I haven't forgotten. For this panel I have two 2.5 inch squares, so that's 5 inches top to bottom and 2.5 inches there. So I have cut two panels of the gingham gala card that are 2 1/4 inches by 4 3/4 inch. Okay, now I'm not going to stick that there like that, because if I do, it will get in the way when I want to fold it over, and besides which I don't need that card there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly find that center point. Okay, not gonna, not going mad with it. And I'm just going to line up my ruler between those 2 points, and I'm going to cut off that corner. And then I'm going to put these two face to face, and I'm going to do the same thing again. Try and keep them together so that I do wind up with a straight line, because it is a challenge for me, I won't lie. And I think, no, that's not the straightest in the universe yet. See, I've got a little bit over this. Let's just tidy that up a little bit, because do you know what? Nobody is going to take a micrometer to this. Well, nobody that I'm likely to send a card to is going to take a micrometer to this. Let's put it like that. Okay, so now I have two panels like that, and I have two little leftover pieces that will go like that. So I'm trying to decide which way do I want the large panel, okay, because I want them to be kind of opposite ends, and I think I'm going to do it like that. So I think I'm going to put small check on these panels and large check on the flaps, because that way it looks kind of like it all belongs to the same piece of paper, if that makes sense. But you know what? If you're crafting along with me for this and you want to do it the other way around, you jolly well go ahead and do it the other way round. It has been said on many an occasion on this channel, there are no stamping police. Nobody will come and get you. You do whatever makes you happy. Because if you're doing this and it doesn't make you happy, I would strongly suggest that you stop, because this is meant to be fun. last little corner pieces. Right, this next bit is the fiddly bit, and it's already gone wrong for me once, so wish me luck with this. I have 2 pieces of my offcut card, my Balmy Blue offcut, and I've cut them to 3.5 inches, so they're an inch longer than each of my squares. Okay, you can see that. Fold that one, fold that one. Alright, so they will fit into my squares with the edges folded. And I've marked the halfway mark on one of the strips, lining the 2 of them up together, and I'm going to snip up about halfway, maybe just a little bit more, alright, into both pieces of cards. So now I have 2 cards with slits in, and they are going to join together eventually like that. I'm going to start with one of them, and I'm going to put the slit facing up. I'm going to line it up onto my base card with the slit uppermost, and I'm just going to line that up to the center fold there and just below that top fold there. And I wish me luck, because this is where it can go wrong. I'm going to apply my liquid adhesive onto that piece there, and actually I'm just wondering whether a glue dot would be better, but I'm going with the liquid adhesive because it will give me a little bit of wiggle room. And I'm closing the left hand flap of the card onto my my card strip, and I'm going to give that a few seconds for the adhesive to set, which it has. Okay. Okay, so now I have my second piece of card with the slit facing down, and I'm going to join those 2 pieces of card together by pushing the slits together. And now I'm going to pop a little bit of liquid adhesive onto this flap at this end of the card, and I am going to close the card over it. Alright. Alright, so now I have this kind of arrangement going on. Alright, so the next one is this flap, and I'm going to close the card in half over the top of it. And finally this flap, and also this flap. Alright, and I'm going to give that a good few minutes for the adhesive to set up. Given that some time for the glue to set up, and once it was dry, I've cut some strips of acetate. Can you see those there? About ½ inch, maybe a little bit less, and I've attached them to the struts that I've made inside there with some glue dots. Okay, so now they're wobbling around all over the place, and I'm going to attach some butterflies to them. So these have all been cut out from the butterfly botanicals, or botanical butterflies. I can never remember which way round that goes, so I am sorry if if I'm getting it badly wrong, and I'm just kind of trying to decide, do I want to see if I fold that, which I think I'm going to do. So chop a bit off there, in with my trusty glue dot. And this time I'm going to stick it straight onto the back of the butterfly, and then that will sit on there just like that. And there I've got a nicely flying butterfly, and it still shows up nicely when the card is closed and when the card is open. So I'm going to carry on and add on a few more butterflies. To mention my piece of Whisper White for stamping on when I was listing my supplies. This one's seen better days, but I think it'll be okay. So I'm inking up the stamp that I'm going to use, which says the good things in life are better with you, which is a lovely sentiment, I think. I'm using my Memento Tuxedo Black, and I've got a squishy mat underneath my card. I know some people like to use a pricking mat. I find that a silicone mat works just fine. And I'm giving the ink plenty of time to transfer. Okay, I don't want to just hit and run. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my pretty label punch and line that up with my sentiment the way I want it. Okay, that'll do nicely, I think. And I've already gone ahead and I've cut out another one of those shapes from the pretty label with my in my balmy blue, and I'm just going to snip that down the middle just like that. And where's my adhesive gone? This will do. And I'm going to put some adhesive onto the back of my piece of Whisper White, and I'm just going to line that up so it looks like it's got a frame around it, but it hasn't really. It's kind of a cheat way of layering up a punch, which makes it look like you've got two punches of different sizes, where in fact you've only got one. So let's bring back my card. Let me wipe that off the mat so I don't make a mess. And I'm going to stick this on to my tuxedo card, but only along one edge. Okay, I'm going to kind of half stick it on. So that when it's closed, you have a sentiment, and when you open it up, you still have a sentiment. And there it is. That is my finished card. Now I did decide to bend that label so that it went round both sides, and I may stick it down. I'm not 100% sure about that. That is it for today. Do hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you want the cutting diagram for the tuxedo card, hop on over to my blog. Details are below in the description box. But for now, thank you very much for joining me. Would love it if you came and saw me again sometime soon. But for now, bye bye.